Hi everybody. I'm working on a PowerPoint project and needed to find some old pictures. So I thought, why don't you Google yourself with your maiden name? Now I was married in 1976, so we're talking something that goes way back, before even the internet. But surprisingly, there were a few things under the name of that young woman whom I once was. I found a story in the Orono, Maine newspaper from 1975. It was about a class that I had taught at the World Vegetarian Congress that was happening there. It was a class about cruelty-free beauty and fashion. And one of the quotes from me was, "Oh, vegan shoes used to be terrible, but they've gotten so much better recently." You know what? I think I probably said that same sentence a week ago. Who knew? And then, as I looked back to even earlier stuff, I found an article that I had written when I was 16. It was a story about going to Des Moines, Iowa, and interviewing the popular rock band of the era, Herman's Hermits. It was such fun to see that I was traveling with my grandmother. I used to write a lot about rock groups, and people will say, "Oh, you were a groupie." And I would say, "I was not, I was a reporter. Groupies don't bring their grandmothers." It was such fun to read that story. And other than the fact that I was using the slang of the era, like groovy and fab most, my writing style hasn't changed all that much. And then I looked back to Google and found that there was some even earlier stuff out there, this from when I was 14. I did take writing for those teen magazines very seriously, and I found articles about September 17th, 1964, when, as a 14-year-old, I got into my first Beatles press conference in my hometown of Kansas City. Now, the reporter picked up on the fact that after the press conference, I went up to the table and got the cigarette butt that was Paul McCartney's and took it home as a souvenir. Come on, I was 14. And yet all this life and energy of this little girl really started filling my consciousness now. Because you see, I was not an attractive kid. I was overweight, I had acne, my hair did all these odd and unfortunate things, and I was really nerdy. And yet, there was something in me that knew that the reason that miracles didn't happen more often was that almost nobody believes they're supposed to. I believed, and in my life, they happened. Now, sometimes when we look back, I know this is true for me, the memories that come up are the regrets. Oh, how could I have done that? I wish I'd made a different choice or taken a different path. And oh my gosh, the times I've hurt people, those are the worst. And that was all true, and yet, so was this other thing. This young person making her way in the world, really connected to that spiritual part that we all have, that's radiant and vibrant and really trying to do the best we possibly can. So it seems to me that when we remember that we all share this kind of soul core that is just so perfect, we would be dazzled if we could ever see all of it. Maybe it would help us to remember that we've always been amazing. So here's a little exercise. I got in touch with this about me by looking on Google. Maybe that's where you need to look to. Or maybe you want to go to relatives or friends from grade school and just say, "Tell me, what was I like back then? What were some of the best things about me?" Maybe you can explore old journals, old letters, and get to know your earlier self. If you're really young, that can be your earlier self from 10 years ago. If you're older, it can be your earlier self from, oh my gosh, way back. But either way, as you meet that person that you were when you were fresh from the great unknown, I think it's a beautiful reminder that you're still fresh, you're still bright. Some things don't change, like my writing style. You have always been amazing. Know it, own it, God bless you.